it's interesting the words that you said there, because I think we're all really guilty of it as professionals. Like you and I are both professionals in the industry too, and it's really easy for your mind to go to, oh well, I can just do this quicker.
But it means, and that's what I say, we always talk about a balance sheet versus a P&L. Investing in your team is a balance sheet because they're an asset. Doing the work now is, yes, it's more on the P&L now, but it means you're going to be doing it for the next 20 years.
Yep.
And, I always have this, the other one is I call it Superman syndrome. There's no one that can do this better than me. I'm the best at doing it. Well, the reality is you haven't gone and found someone that's better than you. Because I guarantee there is someone better than you. You just need to go out there and find who they are and what they should be doing. But that's, again, the who, not the how.
Yes.
The how's the easy part, which is just the process. It's who should be doing this task.
Yes.
And I refer that back to the right people doing the right work at the right time and at the right cost. So everything I do, I review my diary every single week, every single month, every quarter. I look at, is the work I'm doing at the value that it should be? Am I adding the most value to the business by doing that level of work? And if the question's no, then I delegate it to someone that's better suited towards that.
Yeah, for sure. Beverly just wrote a note, letting go of control and not micromanaging people is a tough lesson to learn. And, I'm sure, Nick, you've got some commentary on that, but I 100% agree, because I truly believe, everything that you're saying right now, Nick, kind of resonates, just because, if you have the man syndrome, as you put it, you'll never get out of what you want to do. And, part of that could be your mentality, but like you say, part of it could be finding the right person too, which I think is an interesting lead in for part of what we're talking about, because, that's part of what your group does, is you're finding the right people to put in the right role at the right place, the right time, and everything we talked about. So I guess a question there would be is, there's probably some perceptions here in North America and around the world around what offshoring is, because there's a difference between offshoring and outsourcing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the technical definition of offshoring would be, I'm giving it to, say, you in the Philippines, versus outsourcing, which is someone comes to meet Kelvin here in North America and just offloads their books to me. So a perception issue there, I think, would be, are these people, for lack of a better term, quality enough to do what you just described? Because I'm sure that's probably a concern that people have in terms of who you talk to, in terms of like an objection that they might have for the services that you provide. So can you talk about that a little bit in terms of, how are your TOA employees trained? What does that look like? How do you get the right people in the right seats?
Yeah, so I think it's a good question. So, I'll cover off the outsourcing versus offshoring to start with. So I think when you look at it that way, outsourcing is really where you send a job and get a job. So you might go to a provider, and that could be onshore, meaning America, Canada. It could be offshore, but you're going to an external party saying, I need you to reconcile these 50 transactions. They reconcile and send it back. Offshoring is more about, here's a person that will work for you to do the work. You train them on the system and process. So it's more role-based versus send a job, get a job. I think when you're looking at ultimately the talent, the quality of talent, when I look at my Australian accounting team, when I had it in Australia, I had one Australian in that team out of 10 of my accountants. The rest were from India, Vietnam, Philippines, China, South Africa. There was all nationalities, and they had all moved to Australia. They were not born in Australia. So when we look at it, basically the concept that we go is, where is the best talent for accountants globally? And, the Philippines was the first country that we chose to go. I tried pretty much everything with my old firm, and I found that communication, when they are a full-time dedicated resource, communication was the number one thing where India and Vietnam particularly fell down. So for us, it was around that. It was around the time zone that they worked. We wanted them to work the same hours that we work. There's over 30,000 accountants coming out of university a year in the Philippines. There's over 400,000 accountants in the Philippines. To give you some context, we get roughly 3,000 applications a month for 250 roles. There is no shortage of talent. So when you look at countries like that, South Africa is the same. I put up a job ad for an auditor the other day. Within 24 hours, we had 300 quality auditors, of which we're interviewing close to 180 of them this week. and we got one role.
Yeah.
So I think it's a perception thing. Is if we look at most accounting firms in Canada and America, they're not full of Canadians or Americans. They're multicultural.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people have moved to those countries. So for us, it's about finding the best talent, how we're able to augment. And I talk about speed to competency and speed to success. And that should be locally as well as having a global team. It should be about how do I train my team member to be successful quicker? And that could be at the moment they're an intermediate. I want to move them to a senior or to a manager or to a partner level, whatever it is. It's about how do I get the most human performance out of them and how do I help them to succeed? So the way that we've been able to do that with TOA is that we've built a training company. So we're a registered training company in the Philippines, in Australia. We're becoming a private college in the US at the moment. We're looking at becoming an RTO in Canada. So we've got basically a team of 40 people that build curriculum. And when we're building curriculum and teaching, it's about how do we get someone competent quicker? So, the old path to become a partner used to be 10 years. We reckon you could do it in 3 years now. And a lot of that is around the education and speed to competency. And for us, the number one KPI our GM running that business has is how do I get people competent quicker? So for us, we augment it with that we understand to make our clients successful, we need to help support that. So we build training. Every single team member of ours, so all 3,000 of them, have an individualized professional development plan that covers off compliance, things like Privacy Act, any work-related policies that they need, success skills, so things like communication, how to manage people, leadership, any soft skills that people need, and then there's the technical. So we've got advanced courses in things like Xero and QuickBooks and Sage. So it's around, bookkeeping courses, accounting. It's about how do we make them successful quicker? What's the education they need? Because they are accountants. They understand debits and credits. It's just teaching them the local differences.
Yes. And